That evening, everything looked painfully familiar, like an old faded photograph from a family album. Every frame imbued with warmth and predictability. The aroma of sizzling home fries with melted cheddar hung in the kitchen, mixing with notes of freshly brewed mint tea, Lisa's favorite drink. Quiet laughter echoed off soft, beige-painted walls. Under the table lay forgotten toys. A plastic tractor with chipped paint, a plush teddy bear with a torn ear, and scattered Lego bricks that Sam had been assembling just an hour ago. The soft, golden light of the overhead lamp cast a cozy halo, throwing long shadows onto the worn linoleum floor. Outside, autumn maple leaves rustled, and wind quietly tapped the glass. Nothing foreshadowed the tragedy. But sometimes, it is exactly this kind of mundane ordinary that becomes the last minute of peace before your entire world shatters into pieces. 5-year-old Sam sat at the table, picking at his mashed potatoes, which had already cooled and lost all appeal. His small fingers lazily kneaded the food. His gaze wandered across the plate, as if searching for answers to questions that even adults didn't dare to ask. Suddenly, he looked up, his eyes clear, blue, like the summer sky over Ohio. Calmly, without a smile, without a hint of jest, as if announcing that it would rain tomorrow, he pronounced, "You are not my real mom and dad. My real family lives in another state. I have a wife and 2 kids there, a boy and a girl. Their names are Alex and Sarah." The words hung in the air, heavy and absurd. Lisa, Sam's mother, froze with a fork in her hand, her smile fixed on her face like a wax mask. Her heart skipped a beat, and something in her chest tightened. Tom, the father, was the first to laugh, a short, nervous laugh. "You're such a dreamer, son. What is your wife like? A princess from a fairy tale." But his laugh sounded false, like an echo in an empty room. But Sam didn't smile back. His face remained serious, adult, beyond his years, with a depth in his eyes that sent shivers down their spines. This was not like a child's game. This felt like an adult's memory, accidentally slipped from the mouth of a child. At first, the parents tried to brush it off with jokes. Tom winked, but a note of anxiety already crept into his voice. Lisa nodded, trying to keep up the pretense of a game. But inside her, a cold, sticky confusion was growing, like a morning fog. They switched the conversation to toys, to superhero cartoons, but Sam didn't take the bait. He simply shrugged and returned to his food. But that night, Lisa couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, and her son's words echoed in her head. What if it's not a fantasy? What if? The next day, the worry grew like a snowball rolling down a mountain. Sam began to add details, small but so vivid that they made their blood run cold and their hearts pound wildly. "My wife's name is Emma. She loves cinnamon rolls, always sprinkles them with sugar, and the house smells like Christmas, even in the summer." He spoke of a dog named Colt, a huge black Labrador whose fur smelled of wet earth and leaves after the rain. Colt loves running through puddles, and then he shakes and water flies everywhere. He always meets me at the door, wagging his tail so hard it knocks over vases. And the cat, Susan, she's gray, with green eyes like emeralds. She scratches my chest when she falls asleep. She kneads my shirt with her paws, like dough, and purrs very softly while I stroke her back. In the old 1956 Chevrolet, it squeaks when it backs out of the garage on Sundays. And the kids, Alex loves building pillow forts, and Sarah draws butterflies and says they're fairies. These details were not random. They were forming a mosaic of a life that a 5-year-old boy could not possibly know. He drew the house, with crayons on paper, with the persistence of an artist. Red brick, white window frames, a wide porch with a swing, a huge oak tree on the left, spreading its branches like arms embracing the sky. Each time he looked at the drawing, Sam whispered, "I have to go back soon. They are waiting for me." Emma cries at night, hugging my pillow. Colt sits by the door, howling at the moon. Alex asks, "When is Daddy coming home?" And Sarah draws me with wings like an angel. Tears welled up in Lisa's eyes at these words. How could her son, her baby, speak of such pain with such tenderness? Tom decided to catch his son in a lie to dispel this nightmare. He opened a map on his phone, spread it on the table, his fingers trembling with anxiety. All right, dreamer, show us where your wife lives. Sam, without hesitation, pointed a finger at a small town, Milford, Ohio. Then, guiding his finger across the screen, he traced the route. Across the highway, past rivers and bridges, past an old farm with a red barn. Tom checked later. The route was perfect. It was as if Sam had driven it hundreds of times, feeling every turn in his bones. They went to a psychologist. The doctor, a gray-haired man with kind eyes and a notebook, listened to the story and shrugged. Age appropriate. Children this age often fantasize. Maybe he heard in a cartoon or from friends. It will pass. But as they left the office, Sam, taking his mother's hand, quietly repeated, "You are good people." But Emma is crying at night. Colt is waiting by the door too. I hear them in my sleep. I must hug them. Lisa felt tears burn her eyes, and her throat constrict with a lump. That night, Lisa didn't sleep. Secretly from her husband, she opened Google Earth on her laptop, her fingers flying over the keys. She zoomed in on the map, getting closer to Milford street by street, her heart beating so loudly it felt like it would wake the entire house. And then she saw the house. The very one, red brick, white frames, the porch, the oak tree on the left. To the smallest detail, just like in Sam's drawing. Even the swing on the porch was swaying in the wind. The world swam before her eyes. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Hot, salty, full of fear and hope. In the morning, Tom, seeing her pale face and red eyes, gave up. We'll go. We'll show him there's no one there, and it will all end. It's just a coincidence, damn it. They packed their bags, got in the car, their hearts beating in unison with the engine. They turned off the GPS just in case, not wanting to play into the illusion. But Sam became the navigator himself. From the back seat, he commanded, "Turn here, Dad. Now there'll be a gas station with a red roof and an old flag. Left after the river, there's a bridge with green railings where Emma and I always stop to kiss. Every turn, every sign, every landmark, everything was perfect. The trip stretched into hours full of tension. Lisa squeezed her hands, Tom bit his lips, and Sam looked out the window as if recognizing the landscapes, whispering, soon I'll see them." Finally, they drove into Milford, a quiet, sleepy town with neat houses and green lawns, where time moved slowly, like honey. "Here, we're home," Sam said calmly and got out of the car, not waiting for his parents. He walked toward the door, not as a guest, not as a curious child. He walked like a man who was simply 6 long years late coming home, confidently, with a slight smile full of love and longing. He knocked 3 times, short, habitually, the way he always knocked. 2 quick, 1 slow. The door was opened by a woman around 45, Emma. Her face was tired but beautiful, with deep wrinkles around her eyes that spoke of nights spent crying. Her eyes were huge. Her lips trembled at the sight of strangers, but something flickered in them. Recognition? And then a bark erupted, loud, desperate, full of joy and pain, tearing at the soul. From the depths of the house, scratching the parquet with his claws, a huge black Labrador burst out, Colt. He didn't run. He flew, his eyes wild, his tail spinning like a propeller. He saw Sam, and in an instant forgot that the person before him was a 5-year-old. For him, this was him. The same smell, the same person he had been waiting for every night by the door for 6 damned years, howling at the moon and refusing to eat. Colt knocked Sam down with a running start. The boy fell into the grass, and the dog covered him, whining, howling, licking his face, ears, hair, as if wanting to make sure this wasn't a mirage, not a cruel dream. Saliva flowed freely, His tail hit the ground so hard it raised dust. He was sobbing a dog's sob, loudly, heartbreakingly, the way only those who have lost their master and gotten him back by a miracle can sob. Sam laughed through his tears, hugging the dog around the neck. "Cold old boy, I'm here. I didn't want to leave. I'm sorry." At that very moment, a gray cat with green eyes, Susan, slipped silently out of the house. She walked slowly, proudly, but her eyes were filled with something inhuman. Tears, if cats can even cry. She approached Sam, still lying under Colt, jumped on his chest, nestled her muzzle into his neck, and purred so desperately and loudly that the sound was like muffled sobbing. Her paws needed his shirt exactly the way they did 6 years ago. And right then, everything collapsed like a dam under the pressure of water. Lisa, standing 3 meters away, suddenly sank to the asphalt. Her legs gave way, and she began to sob, loudly, uncontrollably, covering her face with her hands. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Her shoulders shook as if with a fever, and groans of pain and love escaped her throat. "My boy." "How? What?" Tom, who had been saying "it's nonsense, it's impossible" the whole way, clutched his heart, feeling it tear apart. His eyes instantly turned red, his lips trembled. He took one step, a second, and also felt his knees next to his wife, weeping without shame, looking at this scene and whispering through his tears, "Oh my God." The dog recognized him. He really recognized him. Our son. He was someone else. Emma on the porch pressed her hand to her mouth. Her eyes were full of tears that she no longer held back. They poured down her cheeks, mixing with a smile of disbelieving joy. She watched as her dog, who hadn't let strangers near for 6 years, cried over a child. As the cat, who only slept on her deceased husband's pillow, was now purring, as if feeling his heart under her again. "Bob, is that you? My Bob," she whispered, and her voice broke mid-word, her body shaking with sobs. All 4 adults were sobbing hysterically, not quietly or shamefully, the way people sob when their entire world order is destroyed and something greater than they can comprehend grows in its place. A mixture of loss and finding, pain and miracle. Neighbors peered out of windows, but no one intervened. The scene was too intimate, too unbelievable, too sacred. And in the middle of this chaos of barking, purring, and tears lay little Sam, hugging Colt's neck, kissing Susan's wet nose, and whispering through his own tears, "I'm home, guys. I'm finally home. I didn't want to leave. I love you." Then came the difficult conversation in the kitchen, where the air was thick with the smell of coffee and fresh tears. Emma, wiping her eyes with a napkin, told them her husband, Bob, was shot and killed right outside this house 6 years ago. A robbery, a bullet to the temple from a robber's gun who vanished into the night. Bob fell on the porch, blood spilled on the steps, and Emma found him, screaming in horror. Lisa and Tom showed Sam's birthmarks, a small one on his temple, in the shape of a bullet entry wound, and a large one on the back of his head like the exit. Emma turned blue, her hands trembled, and tears flowed again. Those are his marks. But how? And Sam quietly told her things that only the 2 of them knew. About the mole on her neck that she always hid under a scarf because she was self-conscious. About how she would fall asleep with her hand on his chest, feeling his heartbeat and whispering, "I love you." About how she would pretend to be angry when he came home late from work, but would melt away from a single hug from behind, a kiss on the neck. "You always said, 'Don't be gone long,'" Sam whispered, "and I left. I'm sorry." And about our honeymoon in the mountains, how we danced in the rain, and you laughed, soaked through. Emma sobbed, hugging him. "Only we knew, no one else." These words could not be looked up online. A 5-year-old child could not invent them. This was the memory of 2 people who loved each other all their lives, and it seemed even after death. Later, Bob and Emma's children arrived, Alex and Sarah, now teenagers. Alex, a tall boy with his father's eyes, froze when Sam said, "Remember how we built that pillow fort and secretly ate cookies?" Sarah, with her braids, cried, "Daddy, you remember my butterflies? I drew them for you." You can call it coincidence. You can call it reincarnation. You can look for rational explanations. Telepathy, subconscious memories from movies, genetic memory. But the dog was sobbing. The cat was purring. The children were hugging Sam like their father. And the woman who lost her husband 6 years ago on that day felt loved again, with the very same love, only in the body of a 5-year-old boy. Sam didn't leave with his parents right away. He stayed for a week so everyone could get used to it. And then he returned, but with a promise to visit often. The families became one, separated by states, but connected by souls. Lisa and Tom adopted this bond, crying with happiness. Their son had brought life back to an entire family. Emma found peace, whispering, "Love has returned." If you have a lump in your throat and tears in your eyes right now, it means you felt the same thing I did when I first heard this story. It breaks the heart, forcing us to believe in a miracle. Life is full of mysteries, souls are eternal, and love conquers death. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new, real-life stories that give you chills and bring tears to your eyes. Here we share stories about the unexplained, from reincarnations to encounters beyond the veil. Like this video if you believed, even for a second, that this is possible. Because deep down, we all know the world is wider than it seems, and love is eternal. Write in the comments, have you, your children, or acquaintances ever experienced anything similar? Memories that are impossible to explain? Dreams of places you've never been? Or animals that recognize someone in a stranger? Share your story. You are not alone. And share this video with those who need a reminder. We don't always know who we truly are. And sometimes, love really is stronger than death. It crosses boundaries, brings back what was lost, heals wounds, making hearts beat in unison. You are not alone in this vast, mysterious world. I send a hug to each of you through the screen. See you in the next story.